Today is super special because we have a really, really awesome guest that's going to be on our show. We're going to interview him. He's not only a professional MMA fighter, but he also has a new product that's on the market, and the business is blowing up. So let's bring him on so he can introduce himself. Hey, Evan.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I'm super pumped to have you on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Why don't you start just by giving a little bit of your background before you get into your business? I want to hear a little bit about how you started out and how you ended up getting into fighting.
When I was younger, I got into quite a little bit of trouble. I was actually kicked out of my whole school district when I was in high school, not even just the school. Yeah,
Dang.
I was a really bad kid, and that just led to all kinds of stuff like that. And I made a promise to myself when I was 19 that I would only chase my dreams from there on out. I had two big ones. One being I always wanted to invent something. Dexter's Laboratory was my favorite show as a kid, and I always was super intrigued by inventors, and I always wanted to do that. But the second thing was I had always done kickboxing when I was a child, and I thought it would be great to become a championship kickboxer, boxer, even MMA fighter. So I started on the MMA side first. I was like, well, that's easy. I'll start up at a gym and we'll get it going. And that picked up really fast. I started back into it.
Hey, Evan, can I ask you something about that? I think it might actually help a lot of people. Because just that making that transition, I mean, was your family involved? I mean, how that must have been really difficult with your family dynamics, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. My mom, when she was a single mother, so like when she first left my dad, she had told me, she was like, okay, I want you to do something outside of school. Like you need to do some extracurriculars, if you will. And she gave me two options. She said, I can put you in ballet lessons or I could put you in kickboxing lessons.
So you
And
did ballet, right?
yeah, so I was like, all right, let's do the ballet. No. So I ended up doing kickboxing and fell in love with it. But
No shit, though. Ballet is really good for the core, man.
it's great. It's great. I honestly do a lot of yoga
Bar?
and things like that now. But back then I wasn't big on my mind.
When did you when did you fall in love with it? Because I mean, or you always did you like always know that you really enjoyed martial arts and fighting?
I always knew it was something
Okay.
I always loved. But actually, when I was about 14, 15, I had this stepdad who he was actually a drug addict, man, and he kind of told me that I should start selling like drugs and stuff. And it messed my life up like for a little while, man, because I started doing that, and it led me down the wrong path. You know what I mean? And I got away from the martial arts, and that's something that was so big in my life. And once I found the martial arts again, it was sky's the limit, you know.
So you developed some entrepreneurial tendencies early on
Yeah.
too. Then.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. Do you remember your first fight in the ring? In the ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And
What was that like? Did you kick the other person's ass, or was it?
my very first one was a tournament when I was a kid, and
How old were you?
I was, I think, 8 years old, maybe a little bit younger, maybe even like 7.
Oh, you started when you were young.
I started when I was really young, even in the competition side. I remember
Wow.
I got my butt whooped by this kid. He was so fast. I feel like that's a make or break moment, really. Like a loss like that, especially right at the beginning. And I could have just said, "Oh, you know what, this isn't for me," but it actually made me love it more. It made me want to get better. And after that, I just started tearing the other kids up. It was like that one loss as a kid really turned it around, and I just started smashing everybody.
That's amazing, man. Can you imagine if you had won? Then you probably would have just
Yeah.
gotten arrogant. You wouldn't have trained hard.
Yeah, true that. I think losses are important.
Did you ever have a loss that like made you question?
Yes, 100%. My very first pro MMA fight had gotten a little bit arrogant because up until that point, I was just beating everybody as an amateur. I had torn my ACL and MCL in my knee, and I had also torn my shoulder. And going into this professional fight, I still had those injuries. And being arrogant, I was like, I'll still beat this guy, no problem. I ended up losing that one, and it still bothers me to this day because I know that the reason I lost is because I went in there with no preparation. I wasn't really training. It was all arrogance, and it
You went
really
in with the
bugged
wrong
me.
mindset. The wrong
Exactly.
mindset.
Yeah, it really bugged me, and it tore me up because up until that point I was winning for years, and then that was like the first big loss, and I was really torn up about that.
How did you get to that point from that transition from amateur to pro?
My coach, his name was Pops. He brought me up as an amateur where I thought I was already pretty good, but
How old were you when you started fucking with him?
I was about
20.
20 years old. Yeah. He from the ground up molded me back to like the basics, right? Because you get to a certain point, you think you're good, and he just tore it all down. He's like, nope, nothing you're doing is right, and started building me up from the ground up. And
What
basically,
was the first thing that he was like? Was it like form? What was the first thing that he was like? Wait a minute, Evan. Like we got to fix this.
he would always talk a bunch of shit. So yeah, he said you're punching real faggy, you're a little powder puff. Like he's like, yeah, he's like
On the
calling me
punching.
all these
On the
names, and yeah, he was like,
wow.
he's 80 years old. He's this old man, very old school. He was like a Marine, and he's like very small old man, and he's just like talking all kinds of trash. I don't know if you've seen the
Wow.
Rocky movie, but he's kind of like Rocky's first trainer, Mick, in the first Rocky movie. It's funny,
Oh
but they
man.
kind of dictate when you go pro. Like if you're winning all your amateur fights very easily, your coach is the one that'll turn you pro because they get a license that they're able to do that.
Oh, so they have a lot of power.
Yeah,
So how does that work? The economics of that. I mean, so you pay them? They have some hourly rate, or how does that work? They take some percentage of earnings, or it just varies across the board depending on who the coach is.
at the professional level, a lot of coaches, especially top level coaches, they'll just take a percentage of the purse. So like whatever you're getting
Okay,
paid during fight time.
got it.
Now, a lot of the new school coaches that are coming up, especially if you live in a place like California where it's hard to make a living over there, they're gonna charge every time you guys train, like $50 an hour type of thing. So it kind of varies not only with coach to coach, but even where you're at, depending on if it's
Geographically.
yeah, geographically.
So was there like a conversation when your coach was like, "Evan, it's time," or was it?
It was after my last amateur fight. I had just gone in there for like 15 seconds, and I was sick. Actually, I had a fever, like a real bad fever, and I was sick. And I was like, man, I'm just gonna have to take this dude out quick. And the fight only lasted 15 seconds, and then after that one,
What was it? Was it kick, punch?
yeah, punch, punch. And yeah, he was like, enough of this. Like you need to start getting paid for this. You're just gonna keep running these amateurs over.
Man, was it a body hit?
It was one to the body, kind of like folded him over a little bit, and it dropped his
Uh,
hands just enough to get it over.
and so after that, that was when your coach was like, "Evan, you got to move on."
Exactly. He kind of told me, kind of thing. He's like, enough of this. Like it's time to go pro. And on the fighter side, you're always waiting to hear that. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's do it. I've been
Well, we got a
waiting for you
question
to
here.
say that. Yeah.
My Vang 3 has a question. M Vang 3, how long do you plan on fighting professionally?
I kind of made a date for myself. I told myself after 35 is kind of when fighters start tapering off as far as like their health, and that's like my limit. I'm gonna go to about 35. I'm 28 right now, so I have about 7 more years.
Not only have you had an incredibly successful fighting career, but you've also been able to tackle the second thing that you really wanted to do. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I guess it was always in the back of my mind. I was just kind of waiting for the right ideas, kind of thing. I knew that they would come, and I didn't want to force it. Kind of just let it come to me. I knew that I would need some money though, so I always had a little bit of money saved, and it was like preemptively waiting, like specifically for it. It's not like I had like a jar with a piece of tape and the name on it, like invention money, but I always kept a bit of money that I knew would be for the invention when it did come to mind.
How did that? How'd you conceive of it?
That was the special part, right? I'm coming off this injury, the ACL surgery. I got all that fixed. So part of the physical therapy was to start working on my legs, which I really never had done before. I'm going into 24-hour fitness to get a leg workout in. And I know everybody that goes to the gym knows the feeling during the 5 p.m. rush when it's just packed in there. And all the squat racks were taken, all the leg machines were taken, and really the only thing left in the gym was the dumbbells. So, you know, I grab a couple dumbbells and I'm doing like my squats with them, the lunges and things, but there's not much you can really do. So anyways, in between sets, I have the dumbbell on the ground and I start rolling the dumbbell with my foot. And I noticed my foot was fitting like perfectly.
Are you on crutches, right? Like when you're going into the gym, are you going on crutches because you're healing still, or?
No. This is like,
Oh, okay, okay.
This is like right after crutches though. This is like,
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, very soon after crutches. Yeah, it all made sense. I was like, if I could just lift this with my foot, like if I was able to grab it like I could with the hand, I could do isolated exercises like the leg extensions, hamstring curls, and things like that. And boom, there was the idea. I was like, all right, there it is. Now it's time to go. And the
now I gotta figure out how to attach it.
yes, exactly. The very next day, I started working on drawings for it.
I love it. So you started sketching.
Yep.
So tell us about the business. I mean, how's it going?
I can't even believe how successful it's been already.
Actually, I guess I'm jumping. I'm jumping. Our audience doesn't even know what your product is. So after your sketches, you came up with a design for.
Yeah. After the sketches, I had to find an engineer, and my uncle, he knows somebody that's about my age, and I'm like, perfect. You know, he can talk to me, and everything can be good, and we started just bouncing ideas off each other, right? And basically how it was going was he would tell me what could and couldn't work, and I'm just the idea guy, just like shooting, oh, how about this, how about this? And he's like, no, yes, no to that, yes. And we ended up just making like the perfect prototype, right? And it's working perfect. We're like, this is easy, manufacturing will be easy, but we definitely didn't have enough money to mass produce this thing. So we go to a friend of mine who initially like loves the product, and he's like, okay, well, you have to go talk to my manufacturer and see if the manufacturer even wants to be involved in this project. So we had to fly all the way to China and like talk to these people over there about manufacturing. We ended up making them fall in love with the product, and then we come back, we get the funding, and then we had to come up with a name for it, right? And this was a special part where we're you know, banging our heads on the wall trying to come up with a name. And then a friend of ours kind of was just like, you know, monkeys could kind of grab stuff with their feet. Why don't you just call it MonkeyFeet? And we're like, that's perfect. Yes. So we called it MonkeyFeet, and basically it's a binding, kind of like a snowboard binding, but it can fold onto any handle. So, you know, it could be kettlebells, barbells, dumbbells specifically, even some cable machine grips. And once those claws fold onto the handle grip, you just place your foot in and strap in, so that you could do like any leg exercise, really, like any movement, whether you're trying to hit your hip flexors, glutes, hip abductors, your quads and hamstrings. It's everything. It's a really cool thing.
So throughout this entire development process, though, Evan, you were still training, fighting, doing professional fights.
Yeah.
Man, so what was that like juggling that?
A lot of people who have been in my life, you know, they compliment me on my work ethic, and I hold that to heart, you know what I mean? Because like I wasn't even just fighting during that time, but I was actually working a job as well, you know, trying to make money for rent and things like that. So yeah, wow. It was a lot of work though, like a lot. I'd never go out to see my friends. I was missing birthdays, you know, things like that. But it's what you have to do to be successful, right?
Yeah, man. If you want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost.
Yeah. If you want to be the boss, you got to pay the cost.
Okay, so you have a prototype. So then you just started selling it, or did you just word of mouth? Did you just get other coaches and trainers into it? How did you do the initial startup?
During this whole time that we were getting the prototype into the manufacturing stage, we started up the Instagram as just like a fitness profile, and we're just getting followers by posting fitness things, you know what I mean? So that way we already had like a little base. We got up to like 1,000 followers or so.
What's your Instagram?
Animalhouse Fit. So okay. Or it's spelled exactly how it's spelled.
I better follow you. I'd be hella embarrassed if I don't follow you.
We just started doing Facebook ads as like a pre-sale, because we're waiting on them to come over here for a shipment. And we just made a couple ads with the prototypes that we had, and we threw up some Facebook ads and a sale and said, you know, like, these are going to be here. It's all new. and it just worked out. Like we sold out in about a week or so. It
Before
was
you
kind
even
of
had the
crazy.
product to ship?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But we knew we had a number. Like we knew it was coming within like 2 weeks, and we had like a certain number we had to sell, which was I think was like 2,000. But we sold those 2,000 in like a week, which is kind of insane for a new product, right?
Hey Evan, was there a moment? The answer could be in like the design. It could be in like early prototypes, or maybe it's even later. But was there a moment when you were like, I got something here? Like I really, really like when you were like, I really got something here.
The beginning.
Really?
My
Okay, I love it. I love it.
yeah, the guy that the engineer that I initially hired became my business partner, and he always jokes around with me too. Like he's like, yeah, you're always so I'm gonna make this happen kind of thing. Like I'm always so what's the word? Like glasses half full. You know
Yeah,
what I
you're an
mean?
optimist, man. Of
Yeah,
course,
optimist.
you
Like
have to be.
what have to be. Yeah. So right from the very initial moment, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's $1 million idea. Like this is gonna make millions. I know it, and it's just gonna happen."
Yeah, I mean the reality is it's probably going to be a multi-million.
Yeah, honestly, it actually already is. We
Yeah.
we just hit
Oh
2
man.
million in sales
Jesus Christ.
within 6 months.
August?
Yeah, we started in August. No, wait,
Jeez.
we started in October.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
insane.
And I don't know if you saw, but Joe Rogan was actually talking about our product on his
Are you serious?
podcast. I swear. Yeah, there's a
Oh
clip.
my God.
Yeah, there's a clip I posted up. He was because he bought a couple and he loves them, so he was talking about it on his podcast, which was amazing.
Can you talk more about maybe just like tips, like what you learned? Like I feel like that'd be really useful to people because man,
Man,
having an idea starting out, that's one thing, but then actually realizing it into a product, even after you do that, you still have to develop the audience. That's why I was asking you about how you initially got the attention.
I'd say Facebook ads are really helpful this day and age, or like really any ads as far as online goes. I know Amazon, if you're selling on Amazon, Amazon does ads and things like that, and getting the Google setups for to where you're on the top of the Google searches.
What did you do with that Instagram, with that initial follow? You said you started on Instagram, right?
And Instagram was the first one, yeah.
Okay. Did you do Instagram ads?
Yeah. Through Facebook, we did Instagram ads.
Okay.
But I think it is good when you create the Instagram and whatever the field is, you just start like say you're coming out with the cooking appliance. Start following everybody that's a chef or into cooking or a foodie, and commenting on their stuff and just build a little community around that, so when you start out it already looks like you're inside of the community, and it's more wholesome for a company, I believe, instead of the corporate feel.
So you made a video, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all right. How did that work out? And like how did you decide like who helped with that creative? Was that all you? Was it easy? Was it really apparent to you what you needed to do?
And I'm the type of person that I'll use my network as well as I can. Like I'm constantly gonna ask for help from friends and stuff. And I think it's a give and receive kind of thing. I think if you're always, helping the people around you, when it's time for you to ask, you'll receive, right? A couple of my buddies were down to make the video, and then a couple of Paul's buddy, my business partner, were down to make a video. So we got 2 videos made that were like very, very professional, and we just pumped them both out. Like they both were like, even some of my other buddies were like, "Who made this video? Like I know you weren't involved in this. It's way too pro looking, So that's important too. I think when you first launch your Facebook ad, for it to be like a really pro looking video.
Did you contribute to the way to aspects of it, like what moves were shown, like or
Yeah,
did you
yeah.
just
That
okay?
I'm kind of like the in-house expert on the fitness industry, and because I've been a personal trainer as well on the side for about 6 years, so I'm pretty adequate in that realm.
And are you still doing that, or do you call that coaching, or is that
Yeah,
different?
yeah. So
Okay.
I now that the business is making a bunch of money, I actually stopped doing that. But
But you must love doing that.
yeah, I really did used to love coaching. My coach, actually, the one Pops that I was talking about, he passed away. Yeah, that's actually how I got into it. He got me into the coaching side, and it's almost like he knew he didn't have that much longer, and I was kind of like his protege. So he not only was teaching me how to fight, but he taught me how to be a coach, which was like,
Ah,
yeah, invaluable stuff. And
pass the art on.
Yeah, I'll go back to it eventually. Once I retire from the fighting side.
Yeah, we said when you're 35. We're planning it out now.
Yeah, when I'm 35. Yeah, exactly.
Man, so on that though, I'm one of the questions that I love asking fighters is what do you think about skills that translate over from fighting into business? I imagine there's like an immense number
Uh,
because you probably walk into situations where like other people would be nervous or scared, and you're just like, it's cool.
yeah,
What's there to be nervous about?
yeah. That's a really good question. I think along with like any of the martial arts, and I would tell people this a lot that were starting out, is how much confidence it gives you. Like really with anything, it puts you in so many situations where you feel like giving up, and the people around you, your coaches, that they force you to push through, and you do more than you think you can. And I think that translates over, because there's a lot of situations that I've run into in this business where I'm sure a lot of people would have just given up, to be honest. Like it's not like we just got there without any of the speed bumps. There was quite a few of them. And I think if you just keep that mentality of just, it's gonna happen no matter what, and I'm just gonna keep step by step, brick by brick, make it happen, it'll happen eventually. Success, it's only given to those who don't give up.
That's it. That's the message right there. I
Yeah.
usually I usually ask for that at the very end of the interview.
Nice.
Was there ever a moment where you were close to giving up?
I want to say there was, but I don't think there was. No, no.
That's awesome.
There was times where it was really tough, and I thought there was times where I was doubting if it was going to happen or not. Like I was how am I going to do this? And I'd sit there like, how are we going to make this work? Like, oh, it's real tough right now. But I don't think there was ever the give up in my mind.
Man, see, this is the winner mentality, though, Evan. I'm telling you,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not like if it's going to happen; it's when, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
Oh
So
man,
when you were starting your business, did you run into any stuff that like real big speed bumps that made you feel like you were gonna quit?
100%. I mean, I feel like I've been working on building this business ever since I started, man. I mean, I knew I always wanted to have my own business. Like anything else, I mean, you got to figure out how to deliver value.
Yeah,
So I kind of view my first part of my career as developing the skills so that I could deliver value. And I spent quite a long time with a firm. I mean, you met them. You visited that old office.
that was
But
a
having
beautiful office.
yeah, it was really nice. But like having the courage to leave there at the end, like what I realized, like it was all in here, man. It's all mindset. It's all mindset. And then like once you make the leap, it's like you're in it. Like,
Yeah, it's freeing,
but
right?
yeah, but Evan, it's kind of like you're saying. Like if you hang out with optimists, sorry, if you're an optimist, people come to you, right? Because they want to be around that energy.
Yes, 100%.
People don't want to interact with people that are always telling them why something isn't going to happen or what the roadblock is, right? People want to be around the people that are like, no, we're going to get there. We just got to figure out how.
Yeah, it's a very magnetic energy to be around, and I'm kind of the same way. If I'm being honest, like I specifically won't hang around people that are negative, like you said, like because it once you know that, it's almost like they're gonna bring my energy down here. So why would I even want to be around them?
Exactly. Exactly. It really interesting time, and like I was really lucky in that like I started right before March. Sorry, I mean I started in January, but it was before everything shut down in March, right? And it's really interesting this how we talk about Corona a little bit, but I mean I know that a lot of people are trying to figure out how to set up workout gyms in their homes, and like your product is prime for that, and it's
Right.
all e-commerce, it's all online. I mean, I'm interested also hearing about timing and how that affected you. For us, I would say that we weren't as affected in that we always knew that we were going to be able to collaborate and work, I think at least in some capacity remotely. But what it did for us was that it just forced us to go from working remotely 100%. We have a lot of interesting tools that we got into. I mean, Discord, we use Discord on the daily,
Nice.
which is now in the news and everybody knows about it because
Yeah.
Microsoft just their $10 billion bid for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's been a really, really useful tool for our business. Yeah, I feel like Corona just forced a ton of businesses to just jump 10 years forward. Change. I mean, it's going to change the way consumers consume forever.
100%. I think the timing was huge for us too. Like I don't know if in life like everything happens for a reason kind of thing like that, but if that's true, then somebody's watching my back, because it couldn't have even been more perfect. I remember when I first came into your office, you telling me like, "Oh, you got something here. Like this is a good one. You got something here." I was like, "Nice." Yeah, I remember I jumped on
That's so
the
funny.
phone. Yeah, like as soon as I left your office for the
Not
first
that
time.
you needed my validation at all, though, because I mean, you already.
It meant the world, man. It meant the world. I hopped on the phone as soon as I left your office, and I remember I think I called my mom, or it wasn't my mom. I called somebody, and I told him, I was like, "Wow, even the patent attorney, like he's like a really good patent attorney. Everybody says so, and he said it was a good idea. Like, yes." I was so excited.
Oh man, I mean, the utility of it, right? I mean, it just opens up a whole area of the body that you can work out with what's really meant to be for your hands, right?
Yep.
So like you take everything up top torso, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, dumbbells, but then down below, I mean, dude, covered.
Yeah, and all your muscles are pulling muscles. Like I know I never thought about it until I was taking classes on it and stuff, but the function of like us moving any which way, right, is the muscles pulling the bones. You know what I mean? That they contract. It's not your muscles are never like really pushing. They all pull in different
Mm.
ways.
So I know a little bit about your family, but is everyone really athletic? You can't really
Yeah.
see in the video, but Sam is. I mean, sorry, I said your sister's name, but
Yeah.
I was thinking like you guys are really, really like athletic and strong people.
Yeah, yeah. Like my whole family, I kind of grew up into it. I remember even like my real dad would he'd have me walking around with bricks and stuff until I was like crying. He was like, "No, pick them back up and walk with them." Like he was like I can never get out of working out. Like it's like bred into me kind of thing.
Do you have any I guess maybe tips for people that have an idea that want to invest serious time and effort into into their idea? Like,
Have you seen that Shia LaBeouf video where he's like, "Just do it, do it." Like literally, that's the best advice. Shia LaBeouf is the man for that video. Like seriously, if you take the first step, if you just take that first step and just don't stop that momentum, you're gonna get there. Like literally, you just have to keep that momentum going, no matter how slow it gets. As long as you're still inching away, it's gonna happen, man. It's just the first step is the hardest step. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be hell people that are like, "Oh, that won't work. Oh, ma," and they project their negative thoughts onto you. Like, don't pay attention to those people, man, because it's funny. They're the first ones to tell you congratulations when you make it happen.
this is it, right here.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I like to usually just ask like what the if you have any takeaways, any hot takes, anything you want to leave the audience with before we call it.
I think it's just that, like what you're doing, man. I think I take a lot of inspiration from other people, and
Mm.
I'm glad that I have friends like you that it just like how you said, just surround yourself with positive people that are going to keep pushing you and telling you that you can do it. Because the more negative people you have around you, taking that first step is just going to be harder.
I love it, man. Surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with positive people.
Straight
Dude,
up.
Evans, so grateful to have you on. Super excited to see where you take the business, how it grows, how it develops, how you expand. I'm super thrilled,
Hell
and
yeah.
looking forward to see where you take it.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. And
Thanks so
anybody
much.
listening, go to animalhousefitness.com and buy yourself a monkey feet.
Absolutely. Animal House Fit. Check out Instagram, animalhousefitness.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah, here it is right here. Animalhousefitness.com. Buy your monkey feet.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
I appreciate you.